Steady, ho, ho. Hey, look, it's Ringo.
Many years after his death, the son of John Wayne remembers growing up with the Duke. He was aware that he would not be with me as I grew older. One of Hollywood's most well-known figures at one point was John Wayne. His name became so closely associated with the genre as a result of his numerous Western performances, via Biography. History states that Marion Robert Morrison was born in Iowa, but that when he grew older, his family moved to Glendale, California. Wayne used to go by a Duke, a moniker that remained with him for the remainder of his life. Because of his innate athleticism in high school, he was awarded a football scholarship to the University of Southern California. Since his death in 1979, however, his legacy as an actor and his personal life have both been the subject of debate. His son Ethan Wayne said a day at his friend's house made him realize his father was different. The 62-year-old is the youngest child of late Hollywood icon John Wayne and his third and final wife, Peruvian actress Pilar Palit. At now, he serves as the director of the John Wayne Cancer Foundation and president of John Wayne Enterprises. He assisted in the launching of a bourbon made using the patriarch's own recipe this year. Wayne remembered, I went to a friend's house, and his mom said, "Hey Brian, go get the mail." 3 envelopes were there when I got outside. I recall asking, is that all the mail you received? That's peculiar. Those canvas bags filled with tons of mail would be dragged to my house by the U.S. Postal Office. It was peculiar. Wayne said that his upbringing in the then small town of Newport Beach, California, with other families in the same neighborhood and surrounded by strawberry and orange farms, was typical despite having a legendary movie star for a father. Bodyguards or security were absent. John picked up his own phone and answered the door. He got up early to work out with his son and review his scripts before going to his job. He liked the huge sea, and he would often spend his free time on his boat gazing at it. Along with interacting with the people, he would catch his own fish and prepare it on the beach. When Ethan was born, John, who was 56 at the time, made sure his son never forgot to do household tasks. Wayne laughed. Even now, when I pick up a broom, I can't help but think of him coming out and saying, "That's not how you sweep, this is how you sweep." And this large push broom was used for it. He was also not particularly technical. He was an excellent marksman, a superb rider, and a master boat handler. But he would merely leave a car if its tire went flat. And for some reason, when I was a young lad, I was quite mechanical. Disassembling and reassembling things was something I truly enjoyed doing. It truly eluded him. I liked motorcycles, and he didn't. Wayne stated that in spite of his father's well-known profession, John was adamant about being a hands-on parent since he knew he might not be around when his son was a young man. Wayne talked about his early years spent on movie sets, where he was exposed to the laborious process of making Hollywood a reality. He brought along on location, Wayne clarified. He realized he wouldn't be here for me when I grew up and that he would most likely lose me when I was still a young, adolescent man, so I would be homeschooled down on location in Mexico. So when I was tiny, he took me with him. And one of my responsibilities was to pack the car to the brim with whatever he wanted to take with him when he went on a remote filming location. Or the wild goose, if he ventured out on his boat. I would carry the heaviest item possible, his own bourbon, which he would take. Everyone wanted to drink in John Wayne's company. I would also bring him candy packs, particular foods, coats, gloves, and shoes. Unquestionably, plenty of hats. John, often known to his followers as the Duke, directed almost 200 motion pictures in more than 50 years during his lifetime. The New York Times reports that 161 of his films had brought in $350 million by the early 1960s, and at the time of his death in 1979, he had received payment for as much as $666,000. He continues to be hailed as one of the best characters in the Western genre and is an enthusiastic outdoorsman both in front of and behind the camera. Wayne remarked, I was 10 when he was 66 years old. And he is galloping over wide country on a horse, accompanied by a herd of horses, at full speed. He was a fearless, gregarious person who was full of life and never stopped moving forward. Additionally, no one rides a horse like John Wayne does. When the Iowa native, a former high school football standout who had held jobs as a truck driver, fruit picker, soda jerk, and ice hauler, started his acting career, Wayne wasn't around. Wayne claimed that his tough on-screen attitude was, in fact, quite true to life. Wayne stated, I've read stories about how uncomfortable and awkward he felt when he first started out. He spoke with Wyatt Earp and John Ford after realizing he didn't like the way he moved. He began assembling bits and parts of these individuals into a persona that would eventually become John Wayne, a man who was unquestionably related to my father. And there was imagination. Although he was an expert shooter and writer, he also had a solid understanding of filmmaking and narrative techniques. We never got into a shootout. John died of cancer at the age of 72. When John wasn't feeling well, Wayne, who was 17 at the time of his father's passing, claimed to have driven him to UCLA Medical Center. John never made it out alive. John made it clear to his family before he passed away that the medical professionals working to find a cancer cure should always be remembered. He had around 15 grandchildren and 7 children from his marriages. Wayne gave his father's buddy, stuntman Gary McClarty, credit for mentoring him and supporting him during his bereavement. Wayne recalled, he would occasionally take me racing or on a motorcycle ride. He worked as the Blues Brothers stunt coordinator later on. And he hired me, for whatever reason. Additionally, I had missed the final quarter of my junior year with my dad at the time. Things went well in my life and I did well in school while my father was around. However, I wasn't really focused on school after that. I needed a little guidance, which Gary provided. He has my eternal gratitude. It most likely prevented me from making a few errors. John made headlines recently for an entirely different reason. According to The Guardian in 2016, when multiple lawmakers brought up his remarks on ethnic minorities, California lawmakers rejected a plan to establish John Wayne Day to honor him on his birthday. Wayne claimed to be aware of disparaging remarks made about his father because of his political conservatism. He maintained that over time, many have misinterpreted John's beliefs. Wayne clarified, he wanted to work with people who earned their place. He believed that no one should be employed according to their gender, sexual orientation, race, or ethnicity. He was a man, she was a woman, they were gay, they were straight, or they were Mexican, Chinese, or African American. He believed that you should be hired because you were qualified for the position. Because you were skilled and talented and could depend on yourself to do the job. What you were didn't matter to him. Because John Wayne Day was racist, a measure supporting him was shot down by a representative from Sacramento who is Latina. However, he was wed to 3 Latinas. He was a really open, kind, devoted, and supporting man, so it's funny how things get blown out of proportion. Wayne wants his dad to be recognized for the artist he was. Wayne stated, people saw him and assumed one thing or another, but he was out there representing real people. If they were men who moved out here and lived in the West or who served in the military. He portrayed those roles. He spoke for them. They also thought well of him. They continue to do so. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.